Okay, the next chapter for Spanish 3 is Unit 3, Etapa 2, so U3E2, and in your workbook, you'll find those between pages 18 and 38. Okay, 18 and 38. The first grammar topic we're going to talk about are stem-changing verbs. Then we're going to talk about the verb saber, and then we're going to talk about how to compare things. So those three topics. First, with stem-changing verbs, they're also called boot verbs, which will make sense to you in a few minutes. Okay, on your vocab list, you'll see verbs listed, and when you see verbs listed like this, and they have a parentheses after the verb, that means they're going to be a stem-changing verb. There's no way to just look at a verb and know, oh, that's a stem-changing verb. You have to be told, or it has to be listed like here on your vocab list. So this is the B list of your vocab list, and that means that 1 through 8, these are all going to be stem-changing verbs, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So these are all going to fit that mold of what we're doing. In your workbook, there are notes on stem-changing verbs. They look like this. It's page 20, I believe. Let me double check. 20 or 24. Nope, page 20 of your workbook has, nope, I lied again. It's page 30. This is page 31 in your workbook. Sorry, this is page 31 if you want to follow along in your workbook, page 31. Okay, so all these verbs here are all stem-changing verbs. They stem change from E to I, like the B vocab list I just showed you that had the list of the 8, they have those. So, what you do is when you conjugate a verb, the very first step you do is get rid of the AR, the ER, or the IR. So we're going to stick with this example here, and I'm going to map that out for you. So the verb querer is an E to IE stem changing verb. Step number 1, whenever you conjugate a verb, you take the verb and you get rid of the ER, the AR, or the IR. This part that you're left right there, that part is called the stem of the verb. And the stem is going to change why they're called stem changing verbs. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this E right here, because we've gotten rid of this ER. So you have this E, and this E is going to change, the arrow tells you it's going to change to an IE. So what you're going to do is you're going to do Q, U, and then this E right here is going to change to an IE, and then you do the R, and then you do, oh, quiero, which is a word you learned in Spanish too. You just had to memorize it then. Then you do the same thing in this box right here. Q, U, this E changes to an IE, and then you do the R and your regular ER ending for ES. You do the same thing in this box. Q, U, I-E, R-E. So these are all the stem. This is called the stem of the verb. Remember, when you get rid of the ER, the AR, the IR, what's left is the stem. The stem is going to change from E to IE. That also happens in this box. Q-U, I-E, R, and then you're ending in the bottom right hand, E-N for ER verbs. Now, in the nosotros, in the vosotros form, don't do the stem change. So you don't have to worry about that in these two boxes. So we're not going to pick up the purple pen. We're done with the purple pen. No more purple. Just purple in those 4. So you do Q, U, E, R, E, M, O, S, just like a regular conjugation. Q, U, E, R, E with an accent, I, S, just like a regular conjugation. Now, what's fun and exciting, if you draw a circle around the 4 that changed, it looks like a boot. So they're nicknamed boot verbs. And then what's super fun is in the nosotros and vosotros that don't stem change, now your boot has laces. Yay, how exciting. So anytime you see a verb that has a parentheses like this, do this formula. Now the only time you do this is in the present tense. When you're doing the green charts in the past tense, you don't have to do this stem change. So those green charts, don't do it. Just do like you normally would. Take off the ending, add those. Okay, so all of these verbs that are on this page that were also on the vocab list that I showed you, those all follow the exact same formula, all of them, okay? So that's stem changing verbs or boot verbs. The other grammar topic we're going to talk about is pretty easy, is the verb saber. Saber is on page 35 of your workbook. It's on, page 35. I'll bring it up here. On page 35 of your workbook. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. There we go. On page 35 of your workbook, it has the verb saber. The only thing you have to know when conjugating it is the yo form is irregular. There's no such thing as sabo, S-A-B-O. Don't do that. If it were a regular verb, you would take off the ER and you would add an O, but that doesn't exist. The yo form is se, S-E. If you were in my class for Spanish 1, this was the last song of the alphabet song. Yo sé el alfabeto. Okay, so that's, you know that word already. And the saber means to know. We learned another verb that means to know, conocer, and the difference between the two is saber is if you know facts and information. Like, for example, I know your birthday, I know your middle name. But if you know someone or are familiar with a place, then you use conocer, like, oh, I know you, excuse me, I know your parents, I know your neighbor, oh, I know your teacher. So you're familiar with a person, then you use conocer. If you know a fact or information about something, then you use saber. That's all you have to know about those, and just that the yo form is irregular, not S-A-B-O, but se, yo se, is the yo form. Then there's one other thing for this chapter, comparisons, where we're going to learn how to compare one thing to the next. And if you turn to your vocab list, that looks like this. Then we will, that is on page 24. Okay, on page 24 of your vocab list, it has these words. Okay, the comparisons deal with all these words here. If you say mas de means more than, so if I say more than, and that's not a hashtag, that means a number. So if I say more than 5, more than 10, more than 15, more than 100, then you say mas de and then the number. If I have more and then you put a noun here like more friends than, then you'll say más amigos que. Más amigos que means more friends than. Or take out friends and say books or any noun that you want to put in here. So you're going to use más de if the next word is a number, más and then a noun and then que for saying more than. The opposite of more, fewer, menos. So if we say fewer than 10, then this is a number again, not a hashtag, so that's a number. So we say menos de and then plug in any number like 10, fewer than 10. But if I say fewer books than, menos libros que, you're going to put the noun here. So wherever these two dots are is where a noun goes, and these two are where a number goes. Okay? This word mejor, the translation of that word is better and best. This word peor is the antonym, worse and worst. Okay? And this word mayor right here is older, menor is younger. You learned these two in Spanish 1. These 4 words, 17 through 20, don't ever use a mas or menos with them. So if I say she is better than so-and-so, then you would never say ella es más mejor. You just say ella es mejor. She is better. The same rule applies to peor, mayor, and menor. With these 4 words, 17 through 20, don't use a mas or menos. Just use this straight up vocab word. Almost done. Number 21, tan, ADJ stands for adjective. So tan and then an adjective in como means as, and then whatever the adjective is, and then as. So for example, if I said tall, so I want to say she is as tall as, I'll say ella es, ella feminine, ella es tan, and then adjective alta como, and then su hermano or whoever, her brother or someone. Okay, so she is as. So notice because I said she, I made this alta. If it were he, this would be alto. So tan goes with a word here as an adjective. Tanto como, when they're squeezed together like that, means as much as. So for example, if I say, I like to run as much as swimming, then I'll say, me gusta correr tanto como, and then whatever, nadar, or whatever your 2 things that you like. I like burritos as much as tacos. And say, me gustan los burritos tanto como los tacos. Okay, tanto como, always tanto como when there's nothing between it, as much as. Last one, number 23. This goes with nouns. So this definition of this is as much or as many, and then the noun, and then as. So if I say, oh, I have as many pencils as pens. And I'll say tengo tantos, because the word pencils is masculine. So tantos lápices, that's the noun, lápices, como las plumas, as pens. If I switched it and I said I have as many pens as pencils, then I would say tengo tantas, because this would then become plumas, which is feminine, como los lápices. Okay, that's this chapter of grammar.